we shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. Someday down in my heart I do believe that we shall, oh, we shall overcome. Someday God will see us through. God will see us through. God will see us through. Someday down in my heart I do believe. You ought to tell somebody that we shall, oh, we shall. God knows that we shall overcome someday. If y'all don't mind, you can put your hands together here. Oh, come on, choir. We shall. We shall. Oh, we shall overcome someday. I do believe. Yeah, we shall. Oh, yeah. We shall. We shall overcome, y'all. Someday, God, I do believe that we shall, we shall, we shall. Yeah, I know. You want to tell somebody that you're sitting next to? We shall overcome this day. Yeah. Say, oh Lord of the world. Yeah. I believe it. Do you see that? Yeah. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. Tell your neighbor. Tell your friend. We shall overcome. I do believe. I do believe.
Oh my Lord. I've been doing all this talking and ain't nobody heard it. Lord Jesus. Hopefully y'all can hear me now. Oh, I see it moving. Okay. Anywho, y'all have my mic on mute. I was saying that was Leandra Johnson. She had spoken at Jesse Jackson's funeral. They had a public service on yesterday. Thank you so much for telling me, y'all, that I was. Look, my phone was going off. I looked over like, what's going on? I've been over here talking, and ain't nobody heard. Good morning. Good morning. I am LadyRo, and thank you for coming down and having a few moments with me down here at Saturday Morning Scoop with LadyRo. I want to do some pleasantries. Hello, Sparkle. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, Queen Script. Hey, Riri. Thanks for joining. Y'all snuck on in here. I am so glad. Yeah, you said there you go. I didn't even realize. I knew I had muted it to go to do something in the restroom. I think plugging my flat iron. And so when I came back, I forgot to unmute it. You said going back to sleep came into like the video. Well, thanks for letting us know. Hey, that's me, AD, and thanks for coming in, Miss AKA. Hey, Queen Sparkle. You said, hey, LadyRo in chat. Y'all, I'm not gonna be down here long because I have a funeral to go to and I have a bridal party to go attend. And we're gonna be praying for those that are sick, those that are shut in. I have a few people on my prayer list. I'm not gonna mention their names, but they know who they are. And we're gonna pray that God will stretch out his nail scarred hands and heal their bodies today. We know that God is able to do anything but fail. The first voice you heard before I came in was Leandria Johnson. She sung at Jesse Jackson's funeral on yesterday. Y'all, she did her good singing. Oh, she did her good singing. I'm always amazed at her voice when I listen to her. That's me, AD, is speaking to everybody in the room, and I'm glad. But I want to go ahead and get into this because, like I said, I'm not going to be down here long. We're going to hit on a couple of things that I found very interesting in the news this week, because this is what we do down here on Saturday Morning Scoop. We talk about things that are found in the news, things that are done in the local communities that no one's talking about or that everybody's talking about, and we just join in and start talking about it too. Everything that I'm going to be saying today, all views expressed on this live, they're all alleged, they're all in my opinion, and they're all for entertainment purposes. Don't go out your way to dislike anybody for no reason. Honey, have your own mindset. Hey, Symmetry. Fair use disclaimer. Some material is used under U.S. copyright fair use, section 107, for purposes such as commentary, criticism, news reporting, and education. We're gonna be doing all four today, hopefully. Hopefully, all four will be used by us today. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, get in that comment section, and let's talk about all of these things because there's a lot of stuff down here to talk about. Again, like I said yesterday, they had Reverend Jesse Jackson's services. As many of you know, Jesse Jackson passed away. Reverend Jesse Jackson passed away, I believe, February the 17th, and they are just now having his services. And I believe today the family's having a private service just for themselves. And we're going to be praying for their family as well as they prepare to, put their loved one to rest. And that's never easy. I can tell you, I've been on that side of the fence, and it's not easy to bury a parent. It's not easy to bury a loved one, period. So we're going to be praying for them. Also praying for, like I said, the sick and the shut in today, that those who aren't feeling well. There's a lot of people that are sick. I'm not going to call any names, but they know who they are. God is a healer. God is a comforter. God is a deliverer. And I believe in all those things. Amen. Amen. Let's move forward. First thing I'm going to put on my docket today, I'm not going to talk about any other deaths today because again, going to a funeral takes a lot out of me. So I really had to mentally prepare myself to go to this funeral, but I don't want to miss it. This is a mother of the church, a mother in Zion that I absolutely adored, loved, always looked up to because she was a classy lady. And, after the death of my mother, it's been kind of hard to go to funerals. I've been to some since she's passed away, but it's always hard to go to a funeral, especially when it's a mother in Zion. So I had to psych myself up this morning. And when I didn't want to go or didn't think about going, I was like, oh, well, I'm not going to do it. A friend of mine called, I hope I see you today. I'm like, let me get myself up and get together and get out of this house. So that's where I am right now. So let's move forward. First thing I saw this morning when I woke up, Blueface took the X last night. And he said, Junior is not my biological son. R.I.P. to his father, Ronnie. I can no longer continue the plot. It doesn't feel right as a present father in all of my kids' life to be discredited as an absent father to a child that is not biologically mine. I tried my best to fill in the blanks because his biological father is no longer with us, but I can't continue the plot. It doesn't feel right. Yeah. Now we done told everybody that the DNA test say it was yours. I don't know. All I know is please go away from us with all of this. Okay? Go. You're doing too much, Blueface. It's okay. If the baby daddy not here no more, it's okay just to just not say nothing. It really is. It's okay to keep that just amongst you and your mama and your daddy or whoever else want to know. It's okay not to come out here and tell all of us. All right, Blueface. It's okay. It's okay. I promise you, it's gonna be all right. And we'll hold your hand while we tell you this. It's gonna be okay. But don't tell us nothing else about that baby. Okay. Bye. Ooh, honey. That's me. AD said funerals are a lot. They are. They are a lot. It's very hard. I had to go to a close friend's father funeral last Sunday. They are hard, especially when you know the family, know the friends and grandkids. Her grandchildren are my age, and it's just a lot. It's a lot. And when people are close to you, just kind of hurts a little bit worse. You know what I'm saying? Symmetry said Blueface is full of dookie. Hey, Susie, good morning. That's me. AD said, I'm sick of Blueface. Me too. I am sick of him. This is sad. It's super sad because why in the world are you even coming out here saying anything? Just be quiet. It don't hurt to be quiet. It does not hurt to be quiet. Second thing I saw in the news was that well, I ain't gonna say people, our president came out and said he believes, unless Congress steps in, that college sports is going to bankrupt universities or colleges. And I was like, what in the world? When I just read the headline, I'm like, what could he be talking about? Well, because we know he likes to talk. He likes to say things. So I had to go down and I'm like, what is the problem with college sports? And why would college sports be bankrupting universities and colleges? So this is what I found. Let's get into it. A look at the financial pressures of modern college athletics. I'm sorry. So we do know that like in 2011, I believe, because my son went to college in 2008 and his NCAA deal did not include payment. But now college deals they use your likeness, your image, and several other things that they have to pay you for that. They just can't be out here, put your name out here and just doing stuff. Because for years, colleges have brought young women on to play in sports and use their likeness and they made money, millions, thousands off of it, and never did anything but give this kid a scholarship to come to college, right? But you've made money even after this child has either left the college or graduated and still made money off of them. So the NCAA, I think, was sued, and they decided to come up with a collective agreement that they would start paying college athletes for their collegiate skills by means of monetary gain by using their likeness and several other things. But we're going to get into this article and we're going to read about what it says. Susie said future minority millionaires, and that's when he wants to extinct. Exactly. The moment, because how many years because I'm going to tell you this. Let me back it up a little bit. These young men wear out their knees and their ankles and their bones in high school and colleges. Whether or not we want to believe it or not, my son broke the most things in high school. Finger, shoulder, he broke his clavicle. All of this in high school playing football. He was a quarterback. Dude hit him in the shoulder. He took a pretty tough hit. He kept telling me how bad his shoulder hurt. I thought it was just sprung. Took him to the hospital, went to the emergency room. They did an x-ray. And baby, when they came back and told me my baby had a fractured clavicle, I'm like, what? What? How did that happen? Because I never would have thought that. So they get banged up in high school and college, and they never really achieve anything from it. Because most of the time when they go if they make it to the NFL, we know that only 1%ers make it. If they make it to the NFL, they get banged up a little bit more, those who play. But those who are on the collegiate level, they normally play. And they're out there on that field getting banged up, fingers sprung, broken, ankles broken, knees broken, or damaged. My son now has knee problems because of football. He just does. And probably because of height as well, but primarily because of playing football. Susie said dementia number 47. Baby, that's a whole nother conversation, him and his dementia. But now he wants to bring in Congress because he says that he believes that college football college sports is going to bankrupt these universities and these colleges. So this is the article I found, kind of created some of it on my own little, what I had read. Across the United States, college athletes, particularly football and basketball, have grown into a multi-billion-dollar enterprise. Well, while sports bring school pride, television revenue, and national attention, some experts warn that the financial model behind big-time college athletes may be putting serious pressure on academic missions of universities. So we're talking about the mission, not the fact that the colleges are actually going to go bankrupt. So because that's not so. Because we know most sports in colleges, they are self-sufficient. That's just what I believe. Anyway, the arms race in college athletics. Universities competing at the highest level of college sports often invest enormous sums of money to remain competitive. Schools are building new stadiums, expanding training facilities, and paying top coaches salaries that rival professional sports. Hence Deion Sanders. I'm just using him as an example. Him going to Colorado, there was a lot of things that he had to have in place that he didn't necessarily get when he was in Jackson. Right? We're just going to keep it real. When he was in Jackson, Mississippi, he talked about the state of how the campus looked, how the locker rooms looked, how the football stadium looked, the uniforms. And I think Coach Deion Sanders brought a lot to Jackson when it came down to the uniforms and so on and so forth. He actually said he put money of his own into the sport just so it could move a little bit further down the road. When all actuality, Jackson had promised him things that they never made good on. Like he was supposed to get a percentage of all football ticket sales. He didn't get that. And he left and went to Colorado to a collegiate level where they had the money. They had the stadium that was already state of the art. They had the locker rooms that were the state of the art locker rooms. They had the media presence. They had all the things. And by bringing in Coach Deion Sanders, it just expanded what they already had. So I think that when we think about those things, when we think about college football and the fact that universities make money, they have to spend money to make it. And we know Jackson they brought him there with a bunch of promises that they just really didn't try to fulfill or could not fulfill. And there was money that I think they took from the athletic department and put back into their school. But that's just neither here nor there. It says, in some cases, athletic departments operate almost like professional franchises. These investments can include stadium renovations costing more than $100 million, state-of-the-art practice facilities. So they're not using just the facilities of their own stadium to practice. They have other areas that they practice off the football field that cost money as well. Multi-million-dollar coaching contracts, expanding athletic department staff. Many universities spend far more on athletics than they actually earn, which I was not aware of either. And the financial gap is sometimes filled through student fees, university budgets, and public funding. The rise of paying college athletes. Another major change in college sports is the introduction of name, image, and likeness, which we consider the NIL. And I think when my son went to college, that was one of the things he had to sign off on. He had to sign off on an NIL contract, meaning that they could use his name, his image, and his likeness. And I believe the college or university he went to still uses some of that, right? But this time they've created compensation for that. When my son was in college, they did not have compensation for that. Athletes are now allowed to earn money from sponsorship, endorsements, and promotional deals while still playing college sports. This change has created a competitive market where athletes can receive significant financial offers from collective groups of donors and boosters associated with the university. Hey, Sergeant Charge. Um, some players are now receiving deals worth hundreds of thousands or even millions. And we do know that Shador Sanders, he received a lot of money. In fact, both of the Sanders boys received a lot of money from donors and boosters. They were making money in college, like millions in college, based on the NIL deals. Good morning, Miss AKA. You back again. She's speaking to everybody, you guys in the chat. So we know that there was, I think what they really want to do is require that these young men start revenue sharing their money deals with everybody else in the universities across. So possible revenue sharing is what they're asking. Ongoing legal challenges have also opened the doors to possibility that universities may soon have to share athletic revenue directly with the players. So not just the NIL deals, they're going to have to start giving the money that they receive with the players. And I really think that that's a good thing because they should be, if they consider it like a job, when you go to college on a football scholarship, you eat, sleep, and dream football. And I think that it's only fair that they are compensated in some type of way. Because normally when you play football, you really can't work another job. Because I know my son, they had study hall, they had to be at practice at so and so in the morning, in the evening, and then they had to be in their dorms by a certain time. Excuse me. There was just so ooh, there was just so much that was involved in them being a football player. So I don't know where that gives them an opportunity to work outside of school and play football and be able to earn a little bit of money to put in their pockets besides always calling home to ask, hey, can you send me $100? Can you send me $200 for what they need? Miss AKA said, I just wish these kids are protected in a way that their parents can't take their money or them being taken advantage of. I agree with that. I'm not sure what the protections are. I think some actually have agents when they're in college. I'm not sure what that goes through, but the adult child, because once they go to college, they're considered an adult. The parents, only thing they need you to come down there doing is give them some money. I'm just being honest. My kids went to college. One of them told me she didn't want me to look into her, see what her grades were. Baby, if you don't open up them grades for me, you don't get no money from me. I'm just gonna let you know that. And if you don't answer the phone when I call, I'll be down there to the dorm before you can blink your eyes good. I will be. Don't play with me. I am that mother that will drive up on the school campus and knock on your door. Because you're not gonna take my money and play with me at the same time. And that just what's gonna happen. My son, he the same way. Even though he was 9 hours away, baby, I will get in that car and I will come to you. Don't play with me. It says that if they have to, some projections suggest that schools could eventually pay tens of millions of dollars each year to athletes. If this happens, universities may have to make difficult decisions, including cutting smaller athletic programs, increasing student fees, redirecting funds from other university budgets, which we know the universities do that all the time. All the time. All the time. They're constantly moving money around. Yes, my niece is at Baylor. tumbling and athletics take up so much time. She's interning at NCAA now, and that's a good thing. But sports, when I say Riri, they take up so much of their time. It takes up so much of their time. I remember calling my son, "What are you doing?" "Oh, I've got to go to eat, and then after I eat, I got to go to study hall, and after study hall, they were even made to go to church on Wednesday nights." On Wednesday nights, they were required to go to church his freshman year. I can remember him saying, "Oh, I got to get off the phone because I got to go to church." The coach did not play with them. Heck, when I was in band, we had practice in the morning and evening. I had to have a sitter to watch my son. Oh my goodness, Miss AKA. School, if you have any in college, if you're doing any extracurriculars, it does take up your time. I will say that it takes up your time. Susie said, "I'm looking for a lawyer in place to make sure that mine is where the celebrities, a certain percentage went into escrow, and they can no longer steal from the kids." And you know what? That should be the biggest thing. I know they have to have something to I know kids have to have money to live off of, but they should have access to their money as well. And they should have financial advisors, I believe, to help them make wise decisions. We saw Deion Sanders kids out here buying cars, having cars shipped to them, Porsches and Lamborghinis and Bentleys and Rolls Royces come to them so they could drive it for a week, and then buying cars. I believe one of them has, I think he said 6 cars. 6 cars is a lot, but I guess he's gonna be like him daddy and have a lot of cars. Yeah, it's okay. I understand. Susie, I understood what you were trying to say with that there really needs to be an oversight on the money. It's a lot and it creates burnout. It definitely does. My son got burned out his second year and he's like, I don't want to play football anymore. This is too much, Mom. And as much as I tried to encourage him, he had it set in his mind that he did not want to go back. And I understood why. I will listen to the live, but I can't interact because my hands are busy and this voice message is not working for me at all. But I'm listening. You can interact. You say what you need to say. I will decipher it. Just go ahead, keep posting. I enjoy the interaction. Trust me. Another issue affecting the system is conference realignment. Universities are increasingly changing athletic conferences based on television revenue opportunities rather than geography. As a result, some athletes now travel across the country for regular season games, raising concerns about the balance between athletics and academics. And I totally agree with that one. We really, they've got to find a medium in that. Financial risk for universities. Only a small number of college athletic programs actually generate consistent profits. Many universities operate their athletic department at a loss while still investing heavily into facilities and staff. If television revenue declines or legal changes dramatically alter the financial structure of college athletes, some universities could find themselves responsible for a large amount of athletic debt, related debt, rather. And we know that is the thing. While looking ahead, while college sport remains extremely popular, the long-term sustainability of the current model is increasingly being debated. And we know our president has stepped in, or the president of the United States has stepped in, and he wants Congress to do something about it. Some experts believe the system could eventually split into two tiers: a small group of universities operating large-scale revenue-generating athletic programs, and the rest returning to smaller regional competitions. So we know that a lot of our HBCUs are in those small conference blocks, and that's because there's not a lot of money poured into them. And then we know some of our bigger universities, such as Vanderbilt, Duke, just throwing out some names, are in larger conferences because of the money that is poured back into the school. That's why when my daughter graduated from her HBCU, I insisted you give back to that school. You join an alumni chapter and you give back to that school because someone helped you, because she received scholarships for the alumni chapters. So you give back so that someone else can receive a grant or a scholarship from an alumni chapter based on you graduating and being grateful for what you received. The central question remains, how can universities maintain the excitement and benefits of college athletics while protecting their primary mission, which is education? And I really believe that that is where America needs to be thinking. We don't really need to be thinking about the athletics as much as we should be the education. I believe there may need to be some pushback, some drawback on how much is invested into sports instead of into education. But that's an America issue because you go to other countries, they're not doing that. Susie, speak text makes me seem like I have a third grade education, not even smarter than a fifth grade. It's AKA. I'm gonna tell you something. That speech, that voice to text is a booger. It will get you. It gets me every time. So I stop using it. I hardly ever use it. So y'all can let me know what y'all think about college sports. Will it bankrupt universities and colleges, or child, is Trump just putting 20 on 10 like always? I just wonder. Next on the docket, let's talk about the ex-college football player. I mean, not player, coach. Since we're on colleges, let's talk about the ex-Michigan football coach, Sharon Moore. Sharon Moore reached a plea deal on yesterday. He went to court, from my understanding, from what I read, and the courts deemed that, well, the judge deemed, once they saw some of the evidence, the DA didn't really have enough of anything to charge Moore with a felony. So he did a plea deal. They dropped the charges down to a misdemeanor. Doesn't look like he'll serve any time in prison or any of the other things. Look like this will just be just another one of those failed attempt to frame a ninja. Let's listen to what this says. Hopefully there won't be a commercial. Looks like this is just showing him heading to the court, just walking through. But the gist of it is that he took a plea deal. He's a good looking man. Now, I never believed that the man was over there attacking a woman, beating down her door. I never believed any of that. I thought if he did, he was weird, but it is what it is. The article, this is shout out to Yahoo Sports. Yahoo Sports, I'm sorry. Former Michigan football coach Sharon Moore pled no contest to 2 misdemeanor charges Friday as part of a plea deal, according to the ESPN Dan Wenzel. Moore pleaded no contest to charges of malicious use of a telecommunication device because he was calling the girl, telling her she better leave him alone. He was going to jack her up. Anywho, in a domestic relationship and trespassing. But she had called him and told him to come over. Child, both misdemeanors. In exchange for this plea deal, Moore had 3 charges dropped, including a charge of felony home invasion and 2 other misdemeanors. They knew they was trying to wrap their neck around this boy. Anyway, a defendant who enters a no contest plea agrees that they will not fight the charges against them. As such, they waive their right to a trial. A no contest plea is not an admission of guilt, but allows the court to sentence the defendant as if they were guilty. Child. A charge of malicious use of a telecommunication device is in a domestic relationship in Michigan carries possible punishment of up to 6 months in jail, a fine of up to $1,000, or both. But this man has no prior, so I guarantee you he don't get none of that. The punishment for trespassing in Michigan includes possible jail time for no more than 30 days, a fine up to $250, or both. They would probably fine him $1,250 and he gonna go on about his life. Moore was released in December shortly after being fired for cause by Michigan due to an inappropriate relationship. Moore allegedly confronted the woman with which he engaged in that inappropriate relationship after his firing. Moore was accused of going to the woman's house, grabbing butter knives and kitchen scissors, and threatening to take his own life. Prosecutors claim police eventually charged Moore with third-degree home invasion, stalking, and breaking and entering or entering without breaking. All three of those charges were dropped as part of Friday's plea deal. Child, let that man go home and let him rest. Y'all doing too much, but y'all always do too much. Y'all always put 20 on 10 when it come down to things that you think that folks done did against the snowflakes. But moving right along. You said he has disgraced my state. He did. But you know what? I kind of felt like if I want to hurt you, why would I get a butter knife? Of all the knives in the kitchen, why would I get a butter knife if my intent is to hurt you? That didn't make sense. You called a man over there, but you told the people that he broke into your place. But your text messages proved otherwise. Child, that lady just go, she just lied. Miss A, that's me. AD said no, Trump's full of crap. I agree with that on the college thing. Yeah, Trump is just trumping, just a Friday fool. Definitely, y'all. Did y'all know that gas prices just over the span of last week? Y'all know we're in a war. Trump done took us to war with Iran. We're fighting a battle that I don't think many of us know what it is about, because we do know that Israel started the fight with Iran. But child, we're gonna move on from that. But gas prices just over the span of last week went up by 14%. And I think I pulled an article on that as well. Let me drink some water. Gas prices surged 14% in a week. The price of gas in the United States reached an average of $3.41 per gallon on Saturday, a day after crude oil prices soared to levels not seen since 2023. As the spillover from the U.S.-Israeli attacks on Iran continue, the New York Times reports. The gain means gasoline has jumped 14% in the past week. Y'all, I looked at some of the prices in California. Their gas is like $7.50 some odd cents a gallon. Let me see if I can find a sign that I just saw a few minutes ago. I believe I saw it on Instagram under Tyrese's page. Let me look it up. Yes. Let me show it to you guys. $7.89. $7.89 a gallon in California. This is California. Diesel $7.89. Regular unleaded $7.81. Looks like Plus is $7.85, and Supreme $7.89. Ridiculous. And here's somebody that said over here, I did that. Yes, Trump did that by taking us to war with Iran. Now I think many of us, we're going to have to get us some bicycles and start riding our bikes around the city and around town, because we ain't going to be able to. Maybe a motor scooter. Maybe we could afford some motor scooters. That might work. We may be able to fill up a motor scooter. Anywho, y'all, this week, Kristi Noem, the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, was terminated by that president over there. That guy over there. You said we're about to be on Vespass again. Ooh, I don't know what we're going to do. They got some electric bicycles out here. That's me, AD. Maybe we could get us some bicycles. I'm thankful I don't drive, but maybe once a week. I know. So you don't have to fill up your car that much. I fill up my car, I guess I say once a week. I fill it up. Yeah, I probably fill up my car once a week. In fact, before I leave here today, I need to get some gas on my way to the funeral. Child, I don't know. Can you see people on these dresses going to church on a bicycle or a motor scooter or a motorcycle? Oh my God, they got rid of one food and put it in another. When I tell you we seem like we're fighting a losing battle in America when it comes down to the price of things, it just seems that way. It seems like we're not getting hit. So let's go on over here to Christy Gnomes. Hey, blessed by God, Grand Rising. I hope you're feeling okay today. Good to see you in the chat. So Christy Gnomes was released from her position as Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security after we realized that this girl done fumbled over $230 million of American taxpayers' dollars. I'm sorry, $220 million of American taxpayers' dollars. So, of course, as many of you know, she went and she had to talk to the House. She had to sit down to a Senate hearing, and they grilled her. She got mad, she tried to get jazzy, got smart with them. She did all of the things. I don't know how she got the job anyway. I think maybe Trump just thought she was beautiful and decided to give her the job. But what we do know is Christy Gnomes, y'all, I'm gonna tell you the nail that went into the coffin, the actual nail that went in and drove it on in for them was the very fact of she gave a contract to a company that had only been an LLC for 8 days prior to receiving the contract. They had never did a contract with a government agency at all. They were friends of Christy Gnomes, and they received $143 million from the United States tax-paying citizens. $143 million. Let me explain this. Christy Gnomes, former governor of South Dakota, served as Secretary of Department of Homeland Security. Her leadership came under scrutiny in early 2026 after reports surfaced about a large government communications contract related to immigration messaging and border policy. So she took out an ad. That's what the $220 million was. They took out an ad talking about ICE and immigration and what they were going to do, right? This big ad, it was shown across TV. Some of you may have seen it. Some of you may not have seen it, but it was all over, right? So in the ad, a DHS communications campaign aimed at deterring illegal immigration. It cost America about $220 million. One company reportedly received around $143 million of that funding. So out of that 220, $143 million went to this company who was supposed to be the one that created the actual ad, I believe. That company had been formed only 8 days to be exact, before receiving the contract. Reports suggest the company had little public presence or contracting history. In fact, they said they had never had a contract with any government agency prior to. The concerns that were raised by our lawmakers are the contract was allegedly awarded without the standard competitive bidding process. Lawmakers questioned whether political connections influenced the contract award. Investigations examined possible conflicts of interest between contractors and political operatives. Whoever got that 143 million, baby, have set their children up for life. Because I guarantee you that ad did not cost 143 million or 220 million to create. I guarantee you that. During the congressional hearings, members of Congress questioned Gnomes about the procurement process, the decision making behind the contract, and whether the campaign had approval from senior leadership. Some lawmakers called for formal investigation into the contracting process. Others suggested the possibility of perjury, injury based on hearing testimony. The controversy drew bipartisan criticism and significant media attention because, baby, it zoned me in when I heard it. I was like, what? So, amid growing political pressure and controversy, President Donald Trump removed Christy Gnomes from her position as Secretary of Homeland Security just this past week. So the questions that we still have is whether procurement rules were properly followed, which we know more than likely they were not, who ultimately approved the advertising campaign, which I believe was just Christy, and whether additional oversight or investigations will occur. I believe Christy's probably going to spend some time in the jail, in the slammer, doing whatever they do over there in the slammer. I believe that's where she'll be. Not sure when or where, But I believe this is not the end of this. Not the end of this. Let me go over here to where you were at. Speaking of blessed by God. Love that. Love it. Love it. Love it. You said when she fired the pilot that was decorated and then hired and hired to hire him back. Yeah, when she had to hire him back. Yeah. Christy Jones has been giving us problems since she was appointed to that position. She has not really ever been that stand-up girl. She really hasn't. You said she's sitting there looking like Marianne from Gilligan's Island, acting lost and confused. But girl, please, right? This is business, girl. She was definitely looking lost and confused. Definitely looking lost and confused. Riri, I was watching her husband's expression. I know he probably had his head in his lap. Now the new food that they have over Homeland Security is they want to be a UFC fighter trying to fight other folks. I gotta find out who he appointed. Look into him rather. I saw the name, but I don't really know the person. So I'm definitely gonna look into it because I saw that he appointed somebody and from my understanding, he didn't really even fire Christy. He just kind of moved her down the ranks somewhere in the system. Yeah, I understood what you meant, Miss AK. You said fool. Kept saying food because I was reading food. But yeah, I know you meant fool. Yeah, she going to jail. In the words of Melanie Hope, you going to jail. You going to jail. Going to jail, girl. You going to jail. After 8 days, they earned over $100 million. It's insane. And she should be considered a domestic terrorist along with her team. I agree. 100%. 100%. Absolutely. Sad to say, the worst is yet to come. And you know what? That is the sad part. The worst is yet to come. It's not going to get any better. I believe this is just the beginning of what is going to happen to our country. We are really seeing the veil coming off of a lot of things. I believe there was a gentleman who he went to Club Shay Shay and he said something a little bit on the lines of, let me see if I can find what he said. He said something a little bit on the lines of this.
All lies will be exposed. That's all.
All lies will be exposed. Every lie will be exposed. To know that Christy Gnomes had allowed $220 million of not just money just sitting in the corner, but hard-earned taxpayers' dollars that they have taken from us to be given just free willy-nilly to my friend, his friend. We got to clean. When I tell you we got to clean house, and y'all think these primaries and these midterms is a game. This ain't no game, baby. This is not a game. All of this is real. Every single bit of it. We got to get out here and vote. Get these people out of office. You tell me how can someone, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to skip over that. You tell me how someone who is a millionaire can relate to the blue collar worker or that person who works at McDonald's. They cannot relate. Stop putting them in office. Put somebody in office who can relate to you. Anywho. Ooh, I digress. You said Mark Wayne Mullen, new Homeland Security. Let me write that down so I can look him up later on today. Mark Wayne Mullen. Chat. Hopefully he got a little more sense, but I doubt it. Yeah, you going to jail. You going to jail. During the city committee hearing, Mullen read a tweet from O'Brien telling him to stop acting tough and saying any place, anytime. Oh my God. Girl, don't tell me you're Clarissa Shields. Please don't tell me that. Please don't tell me you're Clarissa Shields. And he out here acting unseemly. Let me see if I got another video I wanted to show you guys, but we'll get to that. Let me see. Where we want to go now? I don't have much left because, like I told you, didn't want to be down here much longer. The airspace over Dubai is closed. You said they was about to fight. What? Oh my God. Girl, not fighting up there at the city committee hearing? Lord, a bunch of fools. And they have been allowed to have free reign over this country. Girl, Bernie Sanders had to break. Not Bernie gonna get hurt. Bernie, you gonna have to sit down somewhere. They're gonna be done slung you everywhere. LOL. He's a former MMA fighter. We know that they do some dangerous stuff. Them MMA fighters are not like boxers, baby. They be in the neck and on the leg, and yeah, they do some things. So I don't know about all of that. Queen Script said, yes, Miss AK. They was about to fight, and Bernie Sanders told him to sit down. I'm gonna have to find that. You said 2023. Girl, I'm gonna have to find that. They maybe have to be in our next live that we have talking about that. Give me 1 second, you guys. I'm just to look up something that that I think is hilarious. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of music. And I can't find it. Oh, I'm gonna have to look somewhere else. Next time I'll be able to share it. I should have had it geared up when I thought about it. Yes, that was wild. Riri, I said, is this real life? Y'all, if I saw that, I had forgotten it, but I do not remember this. See, I'm already fighting my sleep. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. So, you guys, y'all may not know this. Well, let me finish this one about airspace. Airspace over Dubai is closed because there were some missiles that were launched in the Middle East that went over Dubai. So they're asking people in Dubai to remain in place, stay in place, don't go nowhere, stay in your room, stay in your hotels. United Emirates have said they will pay for people to remain where they are. They will cover them. You do not have to leave Dubai. You're welcome to stay. And this is an Emirates flight that is departed from Dubai, and it lands at an airport amidst among the Israeli conflict. They left on yesterday, but since this flight has left, there is no more flights leaving in or out of Dubai. I'm sorry, they left on Thursday. No more flights going in and out of Dubai. There was a young lady who was online and she was crying, begging the president to come get her. They actually got her on a plane. She flew to Australia because it was easier to fly that direction to Australia and then come into the United States than to fly to London, because she said everybody was trying to get to London or to Paris to get into the US. So she flew to Australia. She was very good move, strategic move to get her back home. But it lets us know that, child, be careful. I believe until this conflict is ended, and maybe until this president is even out of office, that we should remain on US turf. Or maybe not go any further than those states that border the United States. Not go too far. That's my personal opinion. I have a trip planned to Greece this year, and it's on Emirates, which means I have a layover in Dubai, and I am really considering canceling it altogether. It's later on this year, but I'm thinking I'll just take a loss on whatever money I put down as a deposit for it and go on about my life. Because I just can't see myself going over there and getting stuck and none of those things. I don't want none of those things for me at all. Yes, I don't want any of that. You said this has to be really scary for travelers. So sad. It has to be. Has to be super, super, super scary. Larry Reed is in Dubai right now, and he keeps posting Child, so let them people in Dubai, let them do what they do. Let them tell about what's going on in their country. You mind your business, but child, I'm a mind mine and get on up out of his. I want to talk about Candace Bassett Dillard. I am a fan of Candace. I have been after I realized that Candace wasn't all wrong by herself, that she had assistants, and a lot of times they was over there picking at Candace, and Candace gave it right on back. And the problem with Candace that a lot of people have is that her mouth is a little fly, and baby, she gives it just like you give it, she give it. And yeah. Candace on this week shared with us that her while she was with on Traders, I believe it was Traders she was talking about. It may have been RHOP, but I think she was talking about Traders. She talked about how she was fined and they tried to censor her. I got this off of her podcast, which I believe it was released on yesterday, but let me go over to it. I want you guys to hear what Candace says. Candace has a podcast called Undomesticated Podcast and Audacity. And she does it with a young man. This is the guy that she does it with. And it is on YouTube and it's on any of your Apple podcasts. It's on there as well. But I want you to listen to what Candace is saying. I'm going to break this up and I'm going to invoke, of course, fair use under this. So we're going to listen to Candace explain how she was censored while working for Bravo.
What do you mean specifically?
So I'll just say when I was doing a lot of my press, I was redirected in some of my press based on feelings that people had about what I was saying in my press.
Got you.
Which is, for me, par for the course. I think my entire unscripted life, which is almost a decade, I have been censored or some version of being censored. And I'm just, at this point, I'm just like, okay, sure. Like I would get a call every week from my executive, who I'm still very close to, saying like, that tweet was a little harsh. Can you maybe take that down? Like, I'm used to it. And I also say too, shout out to Lisa Rinna, whose book is out. What is it called? You better believe I'm going to talk about it. Her book is out now, and she has done a really great press run. And one of the things that
we know that Candace has the Twitter finger, so she's talking about her executive producer telling her, hey, your tweets are a little harsh, because they really started scrutinizing her tweets because people started complaining and crying. But people would start on Candace first. And then when she came back and called them Tweedledee, Tweedledum, then they would be upset with her. But I am a firm believer, don't dish it if you can't take it. And Candace always gave them back more than they actually dished out. So this is what she's talking about.
She talked about in the book that made like the headlines, was that she was fined $50,000 by NBC for breach of contract, essentially saying things online that go against your contract. And I remember.
And Pretty Riri Speaks says, Candace is very intelligent, has an extensive vocabulary, and she's witty. It's going to be hard to win an argument with her, which is why they cry. Exactly. They get outwitted. They get out. The verbiage that she used makes you feel like you're a kindergartner. Really, it does. Because she annihilates you with her language. And that actually, the only person I have heard who probably has the verbiage skills that Candace expresses is probably Kenya Moore. I'm not a fan of Kenya, and I'm not at first I wasn't a fan of Candace, but I've grown to really like Candace. And Kenya, I could take her or leave her. I'm not gonna say I'm not a fan of Kenya's. I could take Kenya or leave her. It's neither here nor there. But Kenya also has extensive vocabulary, and she too is a wordsmith when it comes down to checking somebody. So I believe those two together probably could give you a run for the money when it comes down to that mouth, because they don't play. But I do know that people actually start with these women first, and when they give it back to them, they can't handle it because they feel like she's gone so low. When Candace said that Ashley was living with Gollum, people were so upset when they went and had to Google what a Gollum was. Child, let's listen to Candace.
I texted her and I was like, I feel really seen. I feel really seen by that. I always kind of felt like I was alone in that. I too have been fined, not quite 50, maybe somewhere around 30, 35K.
Who are you fined for?
There are rules, Michael. There are rules that that come into play when it matters. That essentially, I would like there was definitely a PA or a paralegal or somebody in business affairs whose job it was just to watch my Twitter. And this was back when you could, this was back when you could.
So she said there was someone assigned just to watch her Twitter, not her life, not to watch what she posted on Twitter. That's why I don't understand why people are so amazed when they get in trouble when it comes down to their job and social media. Every job has a social media policy. Everyone. It is up to you to know what your policy at your job is. It is not anybody else's job. It is up to you to know. Now, Candace, they went a little bit harsher on her because people kept whining and crying. And then who's to judge what she can post on social media? If they can call her all kinds of names, but she has to sit there and take it. That becomes a lot on anybody. So yeah, I agree with that. Miss AKA said, Riri, you're a verbal assassin, just like Kenya and Candace. Definitely. Good morning, living for me. I saw you before. Thought I saw you in here. Good morning. Thanks for joining. Everybody speaking. Queen Script said, I believe her. I do too. I believe every word she's saying. Candace also comes from money. Really, they really don't like that. Exactly. Comes from money, sings. Actually, she sings the song that opens up her podcast. Beautiful song. She's grown on me. Yeah, I love Candace. Again, I didn't start that way when I first started watching her when she first came to RHOP, but I learned that she really wasn't bothering people. She just over there trying to do what she do, and people bothering her. Ashley came in her house and then got mad when she told her to get out and she wouldn't leave, and she picked up a butter knife. And the thing is, she wasn't going to hit you with that knife. She threw the knife on the ground. She was just letting you know she meant business. Because the thing is, I could pop you with the back of this butter knife on top of your head and still inflict some pain on you. This butter knife ain't for poking you. It's for hitting you upside the top of your head like a bat. No. So I definitely agree that Candace has not always been the provoker. The people that provoked her then got mad at her reaction. You got to let people do what they do.
See people's likes. And I would like shit. If something sat well in my spirit, boop, as Michael would say, like.
I can see it now.
I was liking left, right, and center because
letting the people know.
Because that shit is true. And that went against the rules. And other thing, and I would say things, and you've all seen some of the stuff I've said like that, but it was mostly like me affirming things that were being said. It wasn't always what I would say. It was more so I would get in trouble for, you're a polarizing figure. And, when you stoke the flames, it riles up the fan base. And we just need you to, calm it down. And then, after a while, they were just like, okay, well, we just gonna take, and they wouldn't even tell me. I would just get my money and they'd be like, this look a little sharp. And then I'd call and be like, yeah, we took some of it. Oh, thanks. Thanks for telling me. So, yeah.
That's the crazy part. If y'all can, go over there and support Candace over on YouTube, on any of your podcasting stations, Apple Podcasts. She actually has a podcast called Undomesticated with Candace Dillard. And it's worth the listen. She talks about some really great things. This past week, they talked about traders. They had a guest on, Tiffany Mitchell from Big Brother. Great episode. Going over there and watch her, because I really think she's, Candace is really a smart woman. Very, very smart. Very talented. Has a lot going on. I flew all the way to DC to watch her at City Winery. So definitely go watch her or listen to her podcast. We talked about that one. Let's see where we're at. Where was I at? Ashley and Hazley and Hizelle. I'm sorry, I said Hazley. Hizelle, definitely. Candace reminded Ashley that she's from ATL, the upper echelon of ATL, but still, exactly. Yeah, that bankhead money, honey. Yes. Anyway, you guys, I am so appreciative to you guys for coming down here with me. I got to start getting ready, but I'm gonna go out this live with our president, my president, by the name of Barack Obama. He spoke yesterday at the Reverend Jesse Jackson's service, and as he always does, he speaks so elegantly. And I'm just gonna play a little snippet of it. And then I'm going to be gone. If no one told you today that they love you, I love you. And there ain't a thing you can do about it. I hope you guys have a great Saturday and enjoy. Listen to President Obama. Again, I'm just going to play a snippet of this. And if you want to find it, it's on the YouTube. Just Google Reverend Jesse Jackson's funeral service or Obama speaking at Reverend Jackson's services. Let's go.
Good to be home. I love you back. The book of Isaiah. Where are you at? Now, see, I believe in the Constitution. The book of Isaiah God is looking for a messenger to guide a hardened and resistant people.
Grab some canes, check out my new album, and come join me on Cloud 9.
People burn out because they, for some reason, have lost that connection with the why. It rarely is anything else.
They are the heartbeat of a region.
And the Lord asks, whom shall I send? And who will go with us? To which Isaiah replies, here I am, Lord. Send me. To Mother Jackson and the Jackson family.
Here I am, Lord. Send me.
To President and Mrs. Biden, President and Secretary Clinton, Vice President Harris, Pastor Dates, my old friend, though he looking good, Reverend Meeks, Reverend Jenkins. It is an honor to join you today to celebrate the Reverend Jesse Louis Jackson, a man who, when the poor and the dispossessed needed a champion, and a country needed healing, stepped forward again and again